Let me go back to the slide here. And this is one example of a humus molecule. And if you remember what you learned, wait a minute. Okay, I have to go back to. Okay, so if you remember chemistry you learned in school, you can see that this humus molecule has a lot of these rings, benzene rings. Each corner here is a carbon. You can see that it has a lot of carbons. So humus collectively has about 60% by weight of carbon. So, and this carbon is from the air, sequestered by the plant through photosynthesis. So when it becomes carbon like this in a humus molecule, it can remain in the soil for a long time, and it could remain there for hundreds of years if we take care of the soil. And so this is one of the main aims of farming, right? Besides growing food, we are helping the environment by sequestering carbon. And how do I know that if my soil is sequestering carbon? Well, I don't need to use very sophisticated scientific methods to check that. I can just observe. You can see this picture here. The top layer is very rich in humus. The bottom layer is actually still the original soil, which is compacted red clay soil containing very little organic matter. So this picture was taken a few years ago in one of the places I farmed in. This is just next to my plot, outside my plot actually. And so how is this layer of humus-rich soil formed? I didn't do much actually. The landscape contractor workers came very often to mow the grass, so I just asked them to stop doing this. And at the same time, when I have excess garden waste, I just dump it there. So there's nothing much else I did. I didn't grow anything there. So it's the weeds and grass grow on that patch. And over a period of 2 to 3 years, I have got this layer of humus-rich soil. So you can see that these grass and weeds are actually helping to sequester carbon into the soil and store it there quite permanently as humus, which is good for growing food, right? So when you have a garden and you're working on the soil, it is easy for you to tell whether your soil is helping to sequester carbon by just checking the color. And of course, you would expect to see a lot of the soil organisms active in the soil. Right? And I'll show you a graph of the CO2 level in the air, right? Starting from 1800. More than 200 years ago. So you can see that it rises sharply in the 60s here, and it's rising faster and faster and faster. And last year, it was at the level of 411 parts per million. And this year, if you check, it's 416 already, right? Well, of course, during this lockdown period, emission of carbon into the air is slower, but still the total level is still rising up. It's quite a concern. So if more people are involved in sequestering carbon in the soil by growing food, that would help, right? And so we farm for food and climate, environment, right? So, and we, of course, living things need food. We need food for energy, for growth, and for health. It's blocking here. Okay, so for energy and growth, of course, when we eat food, plants, fruits, and so on. We get carbohydrates, we get starches, we get fats, we get vitamins and proteins and so on. This is for energy and for growth. But we also need health, right? So we get health from the fruits and vegetables we eat also, because for plant-based foods, they contain phytonutrients. Phyto means plant, so it's plant nutrients, right? And many of these phytonutrients are antioxidants, and of course they will help us protect our health, and they are also natural defense against pathogens, right? And phytonutrients in the plants, they would determine the colors of the food and the flavors of the food. So that's why we are always advised to eat vegetables and fruits of different colors. I'll show you a picture here. Right. So you have red color, purple color, green, white, and so on. And different color food will give you different types of phytonutrients. And you can see the names here. So some of these names are not so familiar. We are not so familiar with, but some are quite familiar, right? So we are advised to eat fruits and vegetables of different colors, because then we will get a wide range of phytonutrients to protect our health against diseases. And flavors also. If the food that we eat is rich in flavors, that means it is also rich in the phytonutrients, right? So very often now when I buy fruits from the supermarket, the taste is not rich in flavors at all. It is quite bland, meaning that it doesn't contain so much phytonutrients. It doesn't help so much in protecting my health, right? So I like to talk about this term here. This is a French term, terroir, right? Terroir of the farm and farming practices will determine the phytonutrient level. What is terroir in French? It means the natural environment of the farm, the natural elements like water, air, biodiversity, soil, and so on. All these will come together to help the plants develop phytonutrients. And different farms would have different terroir, because they would have different communities of microbes in the soil. They have different animals. The water quality will be different. So they give you different terroir, different tastes. So people who are good at drinking wine, they can tell from the aroma and taste of the wine where the grapes were grown in. Yeah. So this is the concept of terroir. So I think we can apply this concept to vegetables also, right? So if a farm has good terroir, it should be rich in flavors also. Yeah, but nowadays when we buy vegetables and fruits from the supermarket, well, I can feel that it is different from the vegetables and fruits that we grow ourselves.